My name is Evelyn Mala Chiwana, and I'm from Uganda. I'm born from a family of 15 kids. I should be the 12th or 13th sibling. I'm not quite sure because the number keeps increasing, but around there, big family, but very happy family. I'm married to an incredible gentleman, an amazing man called Francis. And actually yesterday happened to be our second anniversary. I'm so blessed to be married to him. The story about how we met is an interesting one. I could tell it in my version, and I'm not sure what his version was. All I know is I was looking for music. So there was this one artist I really loved called Chris Daughtry, and I'd looked about everywhere, everyone I knew, and nobody seemed to have his music. And then somebody I knew led me to Francis. They told me there's this guy who is the only person we think could have Chris Daughtry music. So I reached out to him and I asked him, whether he could give me some of that music. And it took Francis about 6 months to get me that music, and at the end, by the time I had the music, we were dating. That's the long story short. I realized very early on that I was a people person, and I loved working with people and just being immersed in community work. So I resigned from my job, and as soon as I'd resigned, an opportunity opened up for me to work with an HIV/AIDS organization in the US, and that's how I first started to work with communities. My work in the US was mainly HIV/AIDS with a specific set of people, and these were sex workers and intravenous drug users. And I'd never seen anything like it before, but it was a great opportunity for me to, one, bring hope to people because I used to do a lot of counseling, and then two, I used to do HIV testing. And of course, it would break my heart whenever I saw a test come out positive. I currently work for a non-profit organization that's US-based called Sigo Family Foundation. Sigo Family Foundation partners with over 200 organizations, and all of these are in sub-Saharan Africa, majority being in East Africa. And the majority of these organizations are either sponsoring youth or running secondary schools, primary schools, vocational centers, or they're running hospitals or doing a lot of healthcare work within rural communities. I'm overseeing our programs in the 200 countries we work in, and just providing support to our partners and all these communities that we're working with. Gracia Michelle, who is Nelson Mandela's wife, we brought her over to give a keynote speech where she shared more about what she's doing with girls, and not only in South Africa, but in Mozambique, in Tanzania, where she's getting many girls into school, empowering girls into media and other initiatives. We also brought another artist called Emmanuel Jal, who is a peace ambassador and has gone around the world in different countries promoting peace. We believe that, if we use youth for youth, Emmanuel Jal is a youth, so we use youth to tell their story and influence other youth who don't have similar opportunities. Jesus means everything to me. No Jesus, no life. Jesus is the light of this world, as the Bible tells us in John. And for me, even when I go a day without seeking Him, without meditating on His Word or opening the Bible, I just feel like I'm empty. I feel like I have no direction. It's more like a horse without its head. You can't direct it to any direction. So that's how I feel. I feel powerless without Jesus. And I'm really happy to know Jesus the way I do, and I'm learning more as I grow in faith. Our God is love. Jesus is love. And whenever I think about Jesus, I feel like He's that person hugging me constantly and telling me it is okay, that my Jesus does not judge me. My Jesus takes me for who I am, and my Jesus is always guiding me through the right path, the path of righteousness. My husband and I moved here. One of the things we talked about was finding a place where I would feel welcome, similar to the church we were going to back home. So we tried out a church here and there, and we still didn't feel the connection that we were looking for until we were invited to join this church here. And From the first day we came, from the moment we arrived, we just knew that this was it and haven't looked back since. So the church hope is over. We're stuck with you for as long as we're in Brisbane. I really love to do the greeting. What a great way to start the day, to stand by the church entrance and greet people and welcome people. But the other thing I've also been involved in is the home group that happens at Kai and Camilla's home. That has been a great way to meet and fellowship with other members of the church and continue to share, learn and grow in the Word of God. I know it's this community of people that love the Lord, people that love each other, people that want to grow in the Lord, support each other, and we're happy to be led by Pastor Jason, who is amazing, who I would say is a rock star, who guides us and gives a lot of himself without holding back. I also love that this church is constantly talking about the love of Christ. Also not just stopping at talking about it, but also showing it. I love that after church we take time to share, to have a cup of tea together, and also have different fellowships during the week where we continue to grow in the love of Christ.